Welcome to Tamara Tattletales. I'm Tamara, and I spill the tea on your favorite reality stars.
I ride away from my surfboard, grinding on that wood, grinding on that wood. We woke up in the kitchen and how did this shit happen? Oh, baby.
Let's face it, Mike from season 10 of Married at First Sight was a hot mess. If you're not familiar with him, he was a compulsive liar. He was matched with Meka Jones. After saying their I do's, Mike pretty much spent the rest of the season lying to Meka about anything and everything, from his expectations about sex to being a yoga instructor to his salary, you name it, he pretty much lied about it. Anyway, I have a couple of videos and an Instagram post I want to share with you, but first, let me get you up to speed. Where is he now? Married. That's right, on September 4th, 2021, he got married. He married Army vet Shannon Spencer, single mom of a young girl. On their wedding day, Mike made this vow to Shannon's daughter.
I was not with you on the first day you took your first breath, on the day you took your first steps. It was never my destiny. What was my destiny is when I fell in love with your mom. I may have not been there in the beginning, but I'll always be there for the next person in your life. Lost your first school, I was there. When you started your first day of school, I was there. I'll be there on your homecoming, and the day when you found the person that you love for the rest of your life. I know you didn't choose me, but I chose you. And you may not understand that now, but one day you will.
Wait a minute, how did we get here? Let's rewind a little bit and retrace the steps. He married Meka in July of 2019. 13 months later, they were granted an annulment in August 2020. 7 months after the annulment, on March 9th, 2021, he got engaged to Shannon. 2 days later, on March 11th, 2021, he posted this apology to Meka. Meka, let me first start off by saying this is long overdue. I have allowed my pride and ego to stand in the way of doing the right thing. I lied, shut down, and failed to communicate with you. As a black man, it was my job to ensure you were protected, and instead I hurt and embarrassed you. I am sorry. Called me on my BS and forced me to be accountable. You only wanted me to be honest with you, and at the time I was not capable of doing so. You taught me so many lessons, and I thank you. Because of you and others I have crossed on my journey, I am the man I am today. You are a beautiful woman that has so much to offer the world. I pray that you find your forever person. You deserve that and so much more. Michael Watson. Oh, that was nice. The only thing that gives me pause about that apology is I think it's odd that he would choose to post that 2 days after he proposed to another woman. However, I do really appreciate that he did that, because it takes putting aside a lot of pride to admit you're wrong and post a public apology. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, it's free. Don't risk missing out on spicy tea. All you gotta do is hit that subscribe button. So for he and Shannon to move forward, they felt it was necessary to address his conduct on the show. Months before getting married, they posted this video where Shannon asked Mike questions sent to her from fans of the show. Note that she only asked him a couple of the questions that were submitted by the fans. The rest were hers or based on anything he wanted to add.
So what was the deal? What was happening?
I mean, a lot was happening. Let's just keep it's called a spade a spade. There was a lot going on and off. But the truth be true, I just wasn't very honest, and I didn't tell the truth about a number of different things. People were right to feel the way they felt, and the comments are more or less are accurate. But yeah, so let's have that conversation. Let's get into it.
One of the things that I read online was that you did not have a job, and not only did you not have a job, but at some point you manipulated maybe an offer letter or something to that effect. What is the deal?
Well, you can speak to the fact that I have a job now, so
He does have 2 jobs.
Thank you, appreciate you. And throughout the entire experiment, I definitely was employed. What happened in that particular situation, I definitely had a job change, which happened. And I was kind of embarrassed because I negotiated my contract and it wasn't as much money as I had hoped. So I did embellish the numbers a bit. I lied about the numbers.
Thank you.
A part of me was frankly embarrassed. And that was one of those situations. And I felt this pressure to kind of like be a little bit more and do a little more. And that led to me messing with the numbers and kind of presenting it to be more than what it actually was.
But, I do appreciate you saying that. And, I want to say this, that is nothing to be ashamed of, number one, because, now in this unprecedented time with COVID, we are seeing, especially parents, right? But, we appreciate teachers and we understand that they're underpaid and all that stuff. So, I just wish you would have handled it differently. You and yoga.
Yeah.
So what's the deal? I ain't never seen him stretch, y'all. I ain't never seen him stretch. Now,
First of all, okay, this is a different conversation for a different episode. But so yeah, I am a yoga enthusiast and I do teach yoga. I was trained. So the situation in question was that we went to a studio that I practice at, and there was miscommunication where there was a understanding that I was teaching that night and I wasn't, right? And it led to its own kind of like extra thing about me doing stuff at the studio, but I wasn't at the studio. Like it became its own thing. So like simply put, when it comes to yoga, do I teach? Am I certified? Yes and yes, right? Was I teaching that night at question? No, right? And so it is what it is.
So what was the discussion about there being like something about you could have been a janitor or like environmental scientist? Is that what they're called?
Custodial engineer? Like,
right.
Nah, bro. So without getting into the weeds too deeply, right? One way you pay for your membership is that you help clean the studio, right? And that's just smart. Like, why pay $200 a month if you can take a couple of hours a week to clean it and then get your membership reduced or get your classes for free? It just seems like a pretty even exchange. So that's what I did.
I just want you to see how people can think that's bullshit, right? Because It just seemed like a series of unfortunate events, right? That you're wanting people to kind of believe. Again, I wish you would have handled things differently. Like, isn't there anything that you could have pulled out to verify your credentials or?
I'm sure of it, but let me just keep it a buck with you. At a certain point, I didn't care. Like, I just didn't. I think, and if I'm being completely transparent, I checked out pretty early on in the process. And what it was for me, it just felt, it didn't feel right. And I think I spent most of my time just trying to exist in the space than it was ever about, what I was intended to be there for. And so when it just kind of came, and I was like, yeah, whatever you want, bro. Like, if this gets me through the night, if this gets me through the week, if it gets me through the month, like, I'm gonna give it to you, because like I just didn't care. Like, and that's
why not say that? That in itself sounds like bullshit. Like, if I had checked out, right, of a situation, then I would say, look, y'all, I'm checked out. Like, I don't know what the fuck y'all talking about.
I'll say like this. I think in me not, so there's a catch-22, right? I can check out and say it, and then you can take that for what it is, and maybe like I'm giving a pass. Or you can check out but still feel some obligation to, what you're doing, or to the person, or to yourself, to at least get through it. And so I think I'm the latter, right? I think it was like, yeah, I'm not happy, but like I'm gonna still do what I said I was gonna do, because like I have to. And then and let the chips fall where they may at that point. Like, and again, it doesn't justify anything that I did, right? So let's be very clear. Like, it's not good. But like, that's where I was, and that's where I ended up.
Because you look like an asshole.
Yeah.
One of the things that I was made aware of very quickly is your sexual demands. Right. And I don't know that version of you, so I was very taken back. Mm-hmm. What the fuck was that about?
Simply put, it was a joke that went left in mixed company. And instead of addressing it head on, I think privately or just in general, I just kind of let it become more than what it was. And that's kind of how it played out. And, that's probably, if there's anything that I regret the most, clearly I regret the comedy of errors that I made, but that one's the one I think that got away from me and probably hurt the most. Just given my background and given what I do, I think the reason why I didn't talk about it and address it in a more direct way is because like it's a slippery slope, and given the fact that I was and still am in education, like that strike against you, regardless of how it plays out, can adversely affect your career. And so I was just very mindful of it, like, and I didn't touch it.
I don't mean to cut you off here, but that to me sounds insane, because if someone said something so radical about me, right, that was just so far left, I'm gonna speak up. I'm gonna be like, hold on, sis, I ain't mean it like that. Right. But you kind of rolled with the punches, and that to me is very odd, because why would you even want that in the atmosphere? You know what I mean?
Honestly, like, and I just, again, like I told you, for most of these, they won't be like this great epiphany of an explanation. For me, that one was tricky because of how it came about, right? It wasn't like we're having a sit-down conversation like you and I are having. It was like blah, 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 blah. And like I almost kind of like felt like it was like an ambush, and I was kind of like, what? Like, and you know, so I'm stuck like right, you know, and that's kind of what it was. And at that point, I think that's when, honestly, when I said earlier, like I checked out, that's where I checked out. I was like, for real, so this is what we're doing? Bet. like I'm good.
Fair.
I'm good on this. And yeah, so.
Fair. I mean, I get it. Again, looking back, you probably could have done things different. But what else is there? Tell me what you've heard about you. I think that's a little bit more entertaining to me. So what have you heard about you?
So there was a supposed trip to Jamaica with dolphins. Definitely not a thing. Definitely wasn't going to happen. Again, like I said, I had checked out. So anything that involved me doing anything with anyone of any kind was out. Like, but did I have to do it because that's what was needed to get through that moment? Yeah, of course. And I think for me, at a certain point, I'm just functioning on autopilot, right? All right, cool. You got to do this thing. All right, bet. Yo, yada. We good? We done? All right, cool. And I'm out. like that's just, it became a job. And like it was like I got you. It just became a job. And it's like, the best way I can describe it is like you're at a temp job and you just like everybody you work with. you just feel like I'm just here, bro. Like I got another check until this check opens up and then I'm out, right? Like that's kind of what it felt like.
So again, you land your plane. What is it that you did exactly? Because you said that wasn't going to happen. So what did you do?
So basically there was like this exchange. You had to like, you know, give each other gifts or something, I think. And I was just like, cool. Yeah, so here's my gift and here's the thing I had planned. And like, it was just something because honestly, I had nothing. Like, and I wasn't intending to do anything.
Is this a Groupon thing?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, that doesn't fucking make any sense to me either. But you know, I'm not gonna, fight your truth, right? If that's what you thought.
It's not even, well, here's the thing, it's not even that, right? Like, there's clearly within us having this conversation, there's a lot of stuff that I can't say. And, right. I have to be very mindful and respectful of that fact. So, like, I can give you what it is up until a point, and then, like, at this point, you have to take it for what it is. Or you're allowed to make your own conclusions. Like, us having this conversation this evening is just addressing stuff that's kind of gone unsaid for X amount of time. I would like the ability to move on and not have to address in every other thing that I do or stuff that I post on my IG or my Facebook about something that happened a year and a half ago. Since we're here and we're having a conversation, let's just have it. Like, yeah, was it bad? Did I make mistakes? Do I need to own up for the things that I did? Yes, and yes. And this is what this conversation is about, right? There's a lot of things I wish I could go back and redo for the entire experiment, but I can't. And like, my truth is that I can't, but I wish I could, right? So outside of that, the most I can do is own it. But like, I understand there's a bit of like hopefulness that comes with it. Like, you're seeing people of color do this thing and you're hoping that it all works out for the best. And when it doesn't, you know, you're disappointed. As was I, right? Because again, I came in with, you know, wide-eyed optimism, hoping that at the very least, if it didn't have a long-lasting situation, that I at least could get a friend or I could learn something about it. And it was a lot for me. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about the things I needed to work on. And that has propelled me to be in a situation that now I am in a relationship with a great woman. And I have that process and what I went through, all of it, good, bad, the ugly, and even now with you on the internet and Reddit and other websites, thank you. Because that helped me recognize the stuff that I needed to work on and to be in a situation where now, a year and some change later, I'm with her. So thank you. It worked.
What else do you want? Oh, you know, one thing I cannot, and he's going to kill me, but because we did not like plan these questions, right? These are just things that's dropped in my inbox. So I'm so sorry for those who are watching this, like, that are screaming like, why don't you ask him this? I'm sorry. One thing that I do remember reading was there was something about you cutting grass with scissors. I don't know, like, I'm kind of what were you doing?
Bro, I'm weird. So let's start there. And it was like, yo, I'm just gonna do this and like see what happened. Like, and it's like, it is meticulous, and it was supposed to be a joke and ended up becoming some weird thing, like The Shining. And I would eclectic dude, that to me was hilarious at the time, right? The best thing you can do from a situation or an experience is to learn from your mistakes, reevaluate and evaluate where you are, and then grow. And you know, I took it all in and went to therapy and worked it out with myself to now be in a position sometime down the road to be here.
Last two questions I have. Is there anything else that you may have not been as honest about, and what do you want people to know?
So no, I mean, I think I covered the basis. And again, it just starts with me owning my mistakes and knowing that I didn't do a lot right, if not all. But like, you know, here I am and I can take it. I've been taking it, right? And like, but this is the last time I want to have a conversation about it, because like, I moved on, bro. Like, it is what it is. And I think the second one I want people to know about me is like, you know, like, I did it for the right reasons. It didn't have the outcome I wanted, but I did it for the right reasons. And because of the work that I've done, you know, afterwards, now I'm in a situation where I can say with some confidence, like, this is it for me, bro. Like, I'm 32 years old, turning 33 very soon. If I'm not gonna get it now, I'm never gonna get it. It's a harsh reality, right? To have your life or a version of it played on loop for eternity. But it's a good lesson to learn about growth and personal responsibility, and just being able to like see yourself at your worst moment and still not allow that to break you, and be able to move forward. And I think that's what it was for me, right? I can't speak on anybody else's stuff, but I can own what it is for me. This is it for me. And maybe people feel like I should be stunted and I'm only going to be that guy, but like, I'm not. It's like, there's so much more to me, and you know, that's it, man.